enzymes.
And just so you all know, I restarted the recording, so I had it queued up on this computer so I can download. But there is two more questions. What is considered the most important meal of the day?
Breakfast,
Who said that?
bakery,
Miss
Whatever you
Adrienne.
break fast with. Hopefully it's fruit.
Breakfast. Breakfast
Yeah.
it is. But we also talked about breaking the fast, right? Does it matter what time? Like a certain cutoff time before you should be eating or waiting to eat? Does time matter?
was that an hour?
Of waking up?
Yes, of rising. And this is totally a guess.
My intuition tells me just move your body for a couple hours at least after waking up to get everything moving and ready. But that's just personally what I do.
And what are you when you call it a fast, you're speaking about the period of time that you were asleep all night and not ingesting anything?
Yes, basically. Or from the point you stop uh, after dinner, sleep, and then the couple hours that I wake up.
Oh, okay.
I feel like the student that wants to make sure their answers are right.
You're so cute. I actually think that the best time to ingest the fruit that's so vital is also after you've awakened in the morning. It's like a time that is perfect for any type of ingesting fruit or drinking lemon water or something like that. It's best for you to make sure that you do it on an empty stomach. And it's also extremely important for you to know what fruits you should be eating together. I mean, because they're different. All of that is so important because it goes along with properly combining the food. So, I mean, because most of us don't even know that we have different categories of fruit. You got acid fruit, you got sweet fruit, you got subacid fruit, and then you have melons. And so you have to know, should I be eating the acid, which would be an orange, with the banana? No, that's a bad combination, but you can eat that apple with the banana. Then you've got a better combination. So it's always a good idea, especially for give birth. You should check out Google on proper food combining, or snatch up that book, Fit for Life by Harvey and Marilyn Diamond on Amazon. Quick, easy read, and you can get volumes 1 and 2. You're gonna learn a lot. But I just think knowledge is power, especially for someone who's about to bring another human into the world. You should know what you're doing so you can take care of that baby properly, because it ain't nobody else's responsibility but yours.
Thank you. That was the exact keys. That's what I said when I was on mute. Thank you for clarifying. And that moves into our next question that is about breastfeeding. Is why was baby formula originally created? Was it to improve breastfeeding or as a nutritious alternative to breast milk? Or as a last resort if you could not breastfeed? Or to help babies sleep longer?
It's always capitalism.
That part.
Neoncor said it. Wouldn't think. The answer is always capitalism. And I'm
That is
gonna have
too
to
funny.
say, you know, when we were talking about this, well, it's kind of like this tucked to, first of all, breastfeeding is a huge stigma in our community. And it is tied to slavery because our ancestors were wet nurses, which meant even if a slave was not pregnant, a slave master would impregnate because they were expecting a baby. And so a mother was required, slave mother, was required to not nourish their own child and die, and then also be feed the baby that was the slave owner's child. So it's a very, and I mean, it runs deep. Work, for sure, capitalism that continues to keep us tied up. But even then, like slavery is capitalism. So I don't want to get too deep into it, but even in the modern culture, like Nestle, all of those, it was about making money. In addition to that, a doctor, now don't quote me, you're going to have to Google all of this. But there was a doctor who specifically adopted quadruplets, and they were tested on severely. Like breastfeeding or formula was one of the things. So it's just
They
really
use pet
important.
milk.
Pet milk.
Pet milk. That's what they use.
Pet milk.
Yeah, I had that story.
Yes, I can't wait to hear it. Because it's very true. Like breastfeeding is the best. But and as doulas, we are supporting you in whatever your decision is because we understand the realities of the times. But for the most part, we're going to say and want to work with you on how we can make it possible for you to breastfeed because of the benefits that exist not just for you for a long period of time, even down to menopause and the rest of your aging journey, but also for your child in the long run up until forever as well. So that is why we wanted you to know about formula. And then my last question is really just an introspective question in asking what your confidence level is in nutrition. And so here are the answers that I had. I feel confident in identifying nutrient foods for my family. I'm just getting started, or I got this, food is fuel. I still see the answer is always capitalism. How does everyone feel? You got this? Youngkurt says 2. Okay, cool. I love it. Well, thank you so much for finishing our quiz. Thank you so much for being honest, open and honest about where you're at and how you're feeling. So now I'm going to pass it on to Treasure, who's going to share our bio and who we have on the line tonight. And then we are excited to hear from Chef Babette.
Okay. And I am just going to give a brief introduction for the lovely Chef Babette Davis, referred to as just Chef Babette. She is the executive chef at Stuff I Eat, a vegan restaurant in Inglewood, California, and co-founder of Love Your Age, a project that promotes aging successfully. She began her journey at the young age of 40. That's why she looks just so lovely. She has been a vegan and raw food chef for over 2 decades and is a firm believer that we all should eat live food and live consciously. Her journey to health began after years of suffering from digestive disorders, asthma, and skin disorders. And that was a pivotal point in her transformation. And that came after reading the book Fit for Life, which she had mentioned earlier, by Harvey and Marilyn Diamond. She made a conscious decision to eat for the sake of nutrition, and which began her journey towards self-healing. She passionately studied the body-food connection and began experimenting with vegan and live raw food recipes. She soon became a chemist in the kitchen and spent recent years perfecting recipes that allowed her to eat what she loved without the guilt of associated disease and ailments that came with it. So she believed so strongly in health and nutrition that she opened the doors to her first restaurant in 2008, where she intended to serve her own community and emphasized that if the food is available, I believe my community will eat it. And that was her response to people telling her that she wasn't going to be successful in the hood. But here we are today. It is her passion to help others embrace health and start today, no matter how old you are. Let's give a warm welcome to Miss Chef Babette.
Thanks, you guys, for having me. I'm so proud of you ladies for doing this. It's so important that we educate ourselves, because we do not have outside support, if you understand what I mean. We live in a society that's extremely greedy and could care less about your health or your child's health. And all they want to do is make money and be in power. And so knowledge is going to be our power. Bless you. You sneezing, boo? Anyway, knowledge is going to be our power. Look, this is just going to be, we just talking, okay? This ain't all uppity. We just talking. I first want to start off with my ignorance when I was carrying my child and after I had her, especially after I had her, as it pertains to breastfeeding. It didn't have nothing to do with yeah, I know they sell all that stuff to make the money, but it's also for ignorant people like myself. I was so ignorant after I had my child. I had small breasts. I was a sprinter, had small breasts, wore size 32. A 30 black for her. And I'm going back to work the day of my 6-week checkup. I got to get back to work and make some money. I don't want to put on welfare. I don't want to be on welfare. This is what I'm doing. My baby came in here. I would not let that baby latch on to me. I never felt what it felt like to have a baby latch on to me. I gave her Similac. It made her sick. And my mama told me, well, my mother breastfed all her kids. She had 3 of them. But my mother told me to feed my baby pet milk out of a can and Karo syrup. And that is how I started my daughter's life off. That was selfish. It was ignorant. And that is why if you're carrying a baby right now, learn as much about you as you possibly can, because you are responsible for that life inside of you. And you just cannot do it and not have knowledge. They're not going to tell you anything. It's fine. Buy some Similac, buy some pet milk, buy some Karo syrup, buy all of that. We don't care. That's your baby. You ain't got sense enough to know how to take care of your own child. And nobody else told me that. I was just determined she wasn't latching on to me, which was selfish and ignorant. So, yeah, and I say that about myself. I had a wild ride as I was coming up. I ate some of everything. I had eczema, asthma as a child My mother thought the asthma attacks. Now she would sit up and smoke L&M cigarettes and blow them in your face. But then she want to say she believed the asthma attacks was coming because of the carpet on the floor. It was too dusty. So she decided to put linoleum on my bedroom floor. You understand what I'm saying about not have the lack of knowledge? She's sitting there blowing L&M cigarette smoke in my face and saying maybe the asthma attacks are coming from the carpet and the dust. If she knew better, I know my mother would have done better. You understand? I had all kind of allergies. We had cats. I was allergic to the cat dander. She didn't know that. The cat would sleep with me. I wake up in the middle of the night having an asthma attack. And that all came from the dairy. It all came from the refined sugar. It all came from the dyes and the small amount of preservatives they were putting in the food when I was a child, when I was a young person. And I passed all that on to my daughter because I didn't get into a vegan lifestyle until 1990. I had my daughter in 71. So it was a lot I did not know and a lot I could not pass on to her because of a lack of knowledge. I got into drugs when crack came out. I messed with that stuff. There I'm taking attention away from my child. I happened to be living in Colorado when that was going on. And just really, like I said, overwhelmingly ignorant. And I do not have a problem telling you that I was ignorant. Because if I can help you not be as ignorant as I was by sharing this journey with you, please let me share. That's really what I want to do. Like I said, I had eczema, asthma. This is another thing that we have to deal with, making sure that we are available for those children. My mother wasn't always available for me. I was molested at 5 years old. That's availability. You about to bring this baby into the world. You gonna be available, or you got to trust a whole bunch of other folks you don't even know, outside people? Which one is it? It's just it's a huge responsibility. But man, we need our babies and we need them strong right now. We need them. They're trying to take education away from us. They don't want us to know jack. It is our responsibility in our community to make sure that we have good educations for our babies and all of this kind of stuff. How the baby is supposed to eat. You need to know how you're supposed to eat. You're supposed to know how you do you when you go into supermarkets, do you pick up packages and turn them over and make sure you read the ingredients? If it's 2 and 3 paragraphs of ingredients, are you truly gonna eat it? And especially a bunch of words you don't even know how to pronounce. You're gonna eat that and give it to the baby? Do you know what we feed into our children that this is a big challenge right now on the planet. Autistic children. Do you know what kind of crap mothers, parents are feeding autistic children? All kind of chemicals and dyes. Where do you think the autism is coming from? They want to blame it on getting vaccines, and you can blame it on whatever you want to blame it on, but the food in the United States of America is poisonous. Most of it. If you're not buying organic, and if you are buying organic and you ain't growing it yourself, you still taking a chance and just trying to believe that what they're telling you is the honest to God truth. Because they're all about power and money, and they don't give a shit about you if you don't give a shit about you. They really and truly don't. And if you do care about you, they still don't care. So I don't know. I do better if somebody asks me a question. I'll get off.
We were listening.
I
And
Intently and putting my fist
you
up.
know,
Yes.
and we were listening and we hear you. And I thank you for first centering yourself so that you're able to know how much of a safe space this is. This isn't one of those, knock you down the head. But we are in a time where it's really important that we hold space for the questions we don't know. And I think, yeah, absolutely. I would love to move on to question and answering. And I want to leave you with this quote I wrote recently. Because in these sessions, a lot of times there aren't questions, but I really think the reason there aren't questions is because there's fear. So
Mm.
I just want you to know, remember, there's no such thing as a bad question. Every question is a doorway to deeper understanding. If you're wondering about it, chances are someone else is too. So speak up. Your curiosity is powerful.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, that was such a beautiful quote. And thank you so much for grounding us in that quote. I have a question that I'm curious about, and just as far as your story goes, based off of like what was shared as far as your bio, in terms of how you got into your like health and nutrition journey. I heard that it was something that you started off in like your late 40s or your early 40s rather. Sorry, I apologize. Um, even though the skin is skinning, I'm not gonna lie. It's giving. It's
Mhm.
giving 32. But I'm just really curious of like what was that point within your journey where you were like, all right, like I really need to start like honing in as far as like my health and
Good
nutrition
question.
goes.
I met my current husband in 1990. And on the very first date, um, he we went to Griffith Park. Griffith Park is a huge park here in the Los Angeles area, and they have lots and lots of inclines. And I had never been to that park before. And he started running all these trails backwards. And I'm struggling just walking. Now, I'm 39 years old because it was the spring in 1990. I was going to turn 40 in December, and he was going to turn 42 in September. So we're just 2 years apart. This man ran 1,650 feet backwards, and I'm struggling walking. Then he takes me to his apartment. He fixes my very first plant-based meal. And I noticed that I did not have the indigestion. I had a very difficult time digesting food. And once I shared that information with him, he handed me the two books, Fit for Life and The Mucusless Diet Healing System by Professor Arnold Ehret. Those two books completely and totally changed my life, changed my perspective on eating, and I began to enjoy eating, because prior to reading those books and understanding what I brought to you in the beginning about proper food combining, when I got ready to go and have my baby November 26th, it was a Thanksgiving, and I had so much indigestion before I went into the hospital um, to give birth. I was miserable. It was Thanksgiving. We ate everything. Cranberry sauce mixed with the cornbread stuffing and greens, and everything is eaten together. It is a hot mess. And your once you ingest all this stuff, your stomach can't separate everything. You have to do that as you eat, as you ingest the food. You have to know what foods should be eaten together. And I struggled so much. So he made this very first meal for me, gave me these books. I read these books, and I literally transitioned overnight. I was like, you know what? I'm miserable most of the times that I eat. I'm going to try this. And that was in 1990. And I have not looked back. That was in 1990. And I'm so grateful to this man. Now, sometimes I want to bust him in his nose right today. I swear to God, sometimes he could really get on my nerve. But I owe him so much for this knowledge that he shared with me. It completely and totally changed my life. So that's why I went on, and it was like, I want to know more and more and more. And wow, that I was turning 40. I'll be 75 in December. You understand what I'm saying? When I met him, it was this time in 1990.
I'm so sorry. You lying.
What? No. I am not lying. And he
75?
got me to work. Come on, he got me to working out. That was the first date. He took me up to a hill. He understood back then. It's all about nutrition and movement. That is the beginning of practicing self-love and self-care. And I'm gonna tell you, to be perfectly honest with you, I am stronger at loving self today more than I ever have been in my life. I understand the importance of me loving self, because then the message that I send to the intelligence that created all of this is, thank you so very much for this beautiful gift of life. Thank you so very much. Because if you do anything less than that, you're pretty much telling the intelligence, screw you for this gift of life. And I mean that. Now, I know people will fight with you about eating dead animal products. I'm just into life. I just figure life begets life, death begets death. I don't know what it is a dead, decomposing carcass can do for me ever again. I ate chitlins. That is the intestines of another.
Zoom stay hating right when somebody be about to.
I know.
I know.
I guess
Zoom
it's
has been the
like
worst
the
today.
word.
Zoom is
Come
bad
back.
today.
Come back.
Ah,
Hold on. Let's see if I can call her.
just preaching. We was getting the word.
It just,
Word.
hold on. Let me see. Let me call her.
And if I need to look like that at 75, I really do. I really do.
Oh, Pia, you will. You smile all the time.
You do.
I don't know what happened, but we can hear you till you get
will.
set up.
Wow.
It's frozen, but we can hear you. We can hear you on here while you log on.
Oh, okay.
So you, did she hang up? Well, you know what? While we're waiting for Chef Babette to jump back on, we're about to close, but I do have a few plugs. One, I want to thank Soul to Soul, Sacred Seeds Birthworker Collective, for always, always holding down Mahogany Mother Circle since the beginning. So I just really appreciate that. And I want to make sure that we plug our birth worker directory. So I'm gonna put that in the chat. Also, I have their like birthing guide. I'm gonna put that in the chat. And in addition to that, please subscribe to their newsletter, which is here. Love them so much. And then for Mahogany Mother Circle tomorrow, we are having Legacy and Love. It is a conversation about wills and trusts and making sure that we're prepared to when we pass. So that's tomorrow. You can sign up there. And then this is just really, really what we're looking for is we have a focus group with the CDPHE, which is Colorado Public Health Department. Anyway, we are going to host a focus group reimagined. Not gonna lie, I learned this whole new strategy for having. Um, we can hear you on here. That's okay. We could still hear you if you have closing remarks.
Okay, well,
I had a question for her, but that can wait.
It says host has joined. We've let them know you're here.
Oh, sweet. I can let you in.
Okay.
Okay. All right, bye-bye. So the link for the registration is in there, and I'll also put the flyer in there. But it's May 10th. It'll be a self-care day, and then we'll rotate with the focus groups. There'll be breakfast and lunch, and just some really exciting detox, AccuDetox, a sound bath, mocktails and canvases, and then also an awesome chef. So I hope that you all can pass those along. It's for postpartum moms that are 3 months to a year out, and it's from 9 to 2:30. So I'll also put the flyer in here, and please reach out to Mahogany Mother Circle at Gmail if you have any referrals and you just want me to talk to them, or send the form on in. And then the last thing, and I'll put the Instagrams, is Mahogany Circle, and then Sacred Seas Birthworker Collective. I make sure I put those in the chat. And I think for the next 5 minutes, I'm just going to give the floor back to Chef Babette so that we can continue to soak it all up.
I'm so sorry, you guys. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I really am sorry. I don't know what happened. It was like I was the only person moving and all y'all was gone. So anyway, I just basically want to just impress how important it is for you mothers to go hard learning what the human species requires for healthy existence on this planet, and do your best to stay away from a lot of ultra processed foods, especially now that you're feeding yourself, because your baby's getting all of that. And when that baby gets here, try to learn as much as you possibly can about, feeding the baby life, if that makes sense to you. Because I know, and make sure you put that titty in that baby's mouth. And don't be ignorant like Chef, because my daughter suffered. She suffered. I did not start her off correctly. And you don't want to have to live with a regret when all you had to do was learn. Anyway, I'm on my iPhone now, so it's kind of strange.
I had a question for you.
Okay, please.
In regards, what are like some foods that you think that, especially for those mamas who are pregnant, but just in general, what are some foods that you need to keep in the house? Like, what foods do you keep in the house at all times? To get your protein, to get your calcium, your.
Well, I do fun things now. Like, say for instance, I eat a lot of nuts and seeds and stuff like that. So that people are like, you're just eating rabbit food and nuts and seeds. And let me tell you, I make these incredible bundt cakes, those huge bundt cakes that you would normally put in the oven. I get myself walnuts, pecans, cashews. I got a great granola, organic granola that I use. I'll make, say for instance, I'm gonna make a chocolate walnut bundt. I'm going to crush up my walnuts, put some cacao powder in there, a little agave nectar, a little sea salt, and that's going to be my bottom portion of my cake. And then I'm going to take me some avocados, especially them avocados that you're trying to get rid of because they got dark spots. You take those avocados along with a little coconut oil, some sea salt, cacao powder, agave nectar, and vanilla. Put it in a blender. You blend them avocados up. Now you got your second layer of the cake. And then maybe take another layer of the walnuts, the chocolate walnuts, and another layer of the avocado, and put that bad boy in the freezer. And now you got yourself a healthy bundt cake that's also delicious. You can, when you get it out the freezer, you slice it, put you some berries on that bad boy, and that's what I'm saying. You can play with the food so it doesn't get on your nerve, but you have delicious dishes that are easy to fix. I keep green onion, red onion, diced bell pepper. I keep that stuff diced in the refrigerator. Do you know how many dishes I can make using green onion, red onion? I mean, green onion, red onion, and bell pepper. I want to make
Tell me.
some, hey, I want to make some raw chili. I'll take me some walnuts, chop up the walnuts, and put all the ingredients that I would normally put in regular chili and let the walnuts be my meat. And now I got raw chili. I might go soak me some uh, 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 anyway, that's 75. When she forget like that, that's 75 years old. Anyway, it's something it's a grain you can soak and you ain't got bulgur wheat. You can soak it and it will open up for you. Even your wild rice. You can take that wild rice, put it in an oven that's have it submersed in water, put it in an oven that gets as low as 200, leave it in there until that grass, wild rice is a grass, it's not a grain, opens up for you and you're ready to eat it. You can eat it with that raw chili I just made. Or you can just cook you some chili. Grind, and I know y'all funny style about tofu. I know people get crazy about that. It got soy in it. It's soy. But if you eating chickens, fish, cows, or pigs, you eating soy. Because that's what industrial farming
That's what they
is
eat.
feeding all the animals. They feeding them soy. So I'm just saying, get on it. And I don't have a Stuff I Eat is getting ready to put out their cookbook. Okay, so we will have a cookbook, but I do have a dessert book called Cash In on Cashews because my mama put sugar in everything, and I got a sweet palate. So the first book I wrote was a dessert book. But anyway,
I
it's
put
Okay.
the
on
link.
Amazon.
Yep,
Huh?
I put the link in there. It's in the
Okay,
chat.
it's on Amazon called Cash In on
Yes.
Cashews.
Yes.
Great book, and you'll see them bundt cakes I'm talking about in that book. But yeah, so did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am, you did. Just thank you. I've been, because I haven't been able to really get a lot of protein. So I just vegetables and fruit and nuts and whatever.
But
So,
that's, I mean, you get so much protein from so many different vegetables, and people come in the restaurant, we keep a lentil soup in there. I sell out of that lentil soup all the time. It's just another way to get some protein, and it's delicious.
thank
Anyway.
you.
Well, I just want to thank you because we did that in an hour and 2 minutes. And I can't believe we jam-packed it in there. I took a picture. Sorry, guys. Um, but I just want to thank you so, so much. And in case y'all didn't really pick up, that's my cousin. So the family she's talking about is my family too.
Yes,
Uh,
yes.
but I just want to thank you again for jumping on. Thank you so much, Chef Babette, for all of your wisdom and your realness and
Thank you, baby.
minding that it starts with self, and treasure again for all of the work that you've done to just get this going, and then most importantly, those of you who showed up for yourselves. We just have, as long as we hold each other down, there's hope. So Yeah, I hope you all have a lovely evening. Please make sure you take all of the links here, spread the word, and yeah, there's just great work going on here in Colorado. So have a great evening and talk to you all soon.
Thank you, baby. Can't
Thank
wait.
you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
we're
you,
gonna bring
Chef.
you here. You coming?
Have a good night, everyone.
Good
Thank
night.
you. We did it, Marpesa.
We did. Oh my
How
God.
fun.
So much.